Another question. Going back to like relationships, and you were talking about like Gina's family and your in-laws. Like, how did you find it with the in-laws? Like meeting the in-laws?
See, I was extremely lucky. Gina's mum and dad were very accepting, but never been exposed to someone with a disability before at that extent. But they were very much like, we're going to roll with the punches. They took a very traditionalist view of like, if Gina's happy, we're happy.
Yeah.
And they've sort of learned and grown with us, and they've learned to know what I can't do, what considerations I need. So they are extremely considerate. And I think one of the funniest things is I had that classic thing of being terrified of meeting the dad, and was like, oh shit, like as the boyfriend you're like, oh Jesus. And particularly as well because mine and Gina's parents are very different. Gina's are a lot more old school, whereas mine are a little bit more happy-go-lucky. They're a bit off the wall, a bit like you never know what's going to come out of their mouth next.
Mine are the same, and that mixed with my father-in-law scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, same. So I get on really, really well with Gina's dad, and he kind of he really like, well, by Gina's own admission, he's like, he loves having you about. You just make him giggle. So I'm like, clearly I've done that right. But one of my favourite stories of one of the only times, I think only 3 times our parents have met, because Gina's based in Birmingham, I'm down in London. My family are Irish, so we're quite big drinkers. We like a drink. Gina's family also like a drink, but like at a much slower pace. Mm-hmm. And I just remember watching my dad slowly fill Gina's dad's glass up with more and more red wine. And I'm going, Dad, like, just slow down. But the funniest thing about it is he's normally, like, Gina's dad's quite shy around new people. But because of the wine, he'd loosened up and was just telling stories, and it was great. But I do remember saying to my parents, my dad's a builder, particularly my dad. My mum doesn't really do it, but my dad, every other word, fuck this, fuck that, and I'm like, Dad, stop, please, don't stop, just bring it down a tad, just a tiny bit. So I ended up having a word. Yeah, end up having a word and just saying, look, just down a little bit, and it didn't last long.
He's not a builder; he's a bike mechanic, so different thing, but same attitude, and he loves a bottle of red wine.
Yep.
And we came up here. I live with Guy now. I have done so for like a year. Really? Yeah. And my father-in-law turned up out of nowhere, just came over out of the blue because he knew my parents were here. I don't know if my dad had drank at that point. I think he might have been like a glass of wine in. I was like, Dad, don't say anything, just say hello, be normal. Because like me, he has no filter.
Yeah. To be fair, my dad is pretty good. Like, my dad, the swearing's a different thing. My dad is one of the people, like, everyone leaves family parties of mine. Like, my friends will come around and go, your dad's wicked. And I'm like, the only reason you're saying that is because he's the first one on the dance floor and then gets everyone up with him. Yeah. That is just what Dad does.
It's my dad as well.
Yeah. Still, one of my favourite stories of my dad is he's probably not going to enjoy this being out on the internet. Is him so we had a family gathering for my birthday, friends over, family over, mixed bag. Anyway, so I'm sat there with my friends, and my friends, being the weirdos that they are, decided they were going to bring around this jumper that was covered in geese. Like, it was a really garish jumper. My friend found it in a charity shop. Thought it'd be funny to make everyone wear it. And so she made everyone wear it. Then my dad's come over like, what's going on? Bear in mind, my dad, I have a very diverse friendship group. And he's like, your friends are a bit weird, but I'm gonna do my best. He comes, so I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh yeah, we're just putting it on for a laugh and all this. He puts on the jacket, he puts on the jumper. Bear in mind, he's like 6'1". And then he starts telling us about how when he's had a few drinks, his alter ego Sharon comes out, and I'm like, I'm listening to this and I'm going, what? This is the first I've heard of this. And that was the rest of the evening. But yeah, no, I literally, with my dad, more so my dad than anyone else, the stuff that they come out with. My dad and my aunts and uncles, they're the bit more of live wires. My mum's a bit more subdued and a little bit more regulated.
Yeah.
It's probably the right word.
I think our dads would get on if we put them in the same room.
Yeah. I mean, prime example, to give you a brief, really like snapshot of how bad my parents can be. No, actually not my parents, my family. One of the first questions my aunt asked Gina when they first met was, is he any good?
Well, just straight out.
Yep.
Straight out. Jeez.
Yep, straight out the gate. Straight out the gate. So that's what I deal with on a daily basis.
And that sounds very similar to my upbringing.